you. I just opened that. I really hate you, you New York Times. Y'all really fucking suck. Is there like something I can watch?
To engine ignition at T-minus 2 seconds. We don't want to try to run highly chilled liquid oxygen through a warm pump. You would flash that into gas, and running gas through a high-speed pump is not a good thing. So right now, we are waiting for T-minus 7 minutes. That'll start the engine chill. Shortly after that, we will also get the fuel shut down.
All right, John Innsbrucker from Hawthorne and SpaceX Mission Control. Let's give you a look at the launch timeline here and what to expect. By the way, at any time they can call the weather if it changes. But in our launch timeline, it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds to get the main engine cut off. Those are the 9 main engines of the first stage of the Falcon 9. And then the second stage engine cutoff goes at 8 minutes and 43 seconds after liftoff. After that, 9 minutes and 9 seconds, the first stage lands back on its ship in the ocean. We should be able to see that live. At 12:02, the Crew Dragon should be in orbit. At about 10:30 or so tomorrow, 10:30 a.m., we would expect the link up of the Dragon with the International Space Station. Listen to this.
Stage 2 engine chill has started.
I tell you, Dragonborn comes.
We've heard the call out. Stage 1 engine chill has started. That's gone up to the crew so that they've got situational awareness. As I mentioned, the pre-valves are open. And now we are topping off first stage fuel, getting ready to finish the fuel load.
Shut the fuck
liquid
up.
oxygen load on first and second
Engine
stage
hydraulics at pressure.
will continue until the last 3 to 2 minutes of the countdown.
And as you heard there, you talked about the liquid oxygen or oxygen slush that goes right until almost the very last second in order to keep it dense, in order to provide the maximum power possible to those 9 engines on the Falcon 9. Those 9 engines provide as much thrust as 5 747s going at full power all at once, all for that little tiny capsule up on top to accelerate it to 9 times faster than a rifle bullet. So fueling on the first stage, that's fueling, not oxygen, on the first stage is complete. Fuel and oxygen complete on the second stage, liquid oxygen loading continuing on the first stage. And the astronauts, their hands folded, looking calm, looking serene, looking ready, coming down close to about the 5-minute mark. And we're hearing no one saying anything about the weather, no one saying anything about any problems or anything like that.
Second stage, counting down all the way until about 2 or 3 minutes, as John and I just said, until everything is loaded.
Falcon 9 heaters closing out.
And then we will go for launch.
The final go, you might say, is given at 45 seconds before liftoff by the SpaceX launch director. So you will be listening in for that as well. The vapors, clouds that we see is liquid oxygen that boils off and becomes a vapor and is released. And you'll see in a few moments the strong back, or the launch tower that the rocket is attached to. It'll lean back pretty soon. The access arm, the kind of black and white horizontal arm, has been swung back. It looks a little bit like it's very close, but it's not.
Stage 1 RPO, please.
The astronauts do not fly the ship.
We
They
are
do
just
not
4
control the
minutes
ship.
away
It is
from
controlled by
liftoff.
on board.
At this moment, Bob and Doug are really just laser focused on those displays.
God,
They have
this is
insight
the longest
directly
5
into
minutes
Dragon
of
and the
my
Falcon
life.
9. They're able to see where their fuel loading is at,
Oh,
how
I
everything's
wasn't
progressing
watching.
down with the count.
AFTS final setup started.
Three and a half minutes from launch.
And the Strongback is now reclining away from the Falcon 9.
Is this really how long, like, 3 minutes is? Because I
Never
don't even wait this
before
long
have
for a
human
pregnancy
beings
test.
flown on a privately built, privately owned spaceship. There it is, the Dragon.
MVAC igniter purges. I'll go bleed. Dragon has transitioned to terminal count and is on internal power. Stage 1, LOX load closed out.
Okay, we're at T-minus 2 minutes, 42 seconds. Stage 1 LOX load is closed out. Stage 2 will continue to load for about another half a minute or so. Once we get the completion of Stage 2 LOX loading, we have to vent down the line, so you'll see another large white cloud coming off of the Strongback. That'll be normal. That'll happen
Vehicle
around
is transitioning to internal
T-minus
power.
1 minute and 40 seconds. We're going on internal power now.
Just a few seconds away from the Stage 2 LOX load being complete. It's been almost 9 years since we've been in this position. A lot of work done by thousands of people to get to this point. All our eyes focused on 2 now.
Stage 2 LOX load is closed out. Propellant fills are complete. Dragon is in auto idle.
Stage 2 LOX load complete. All fuel, all oxidizer on Falcon 9. 1 minute, 34 seconds to go till launch.
Ground gas closeouts is starting.
We're gonna have more humans in the space.
A test flight. Bob Hurley, Bob Bankin, and Doug Hurley are test pilots, putting it on the line to see if this works.
What? This is behind.
One
I
minute.
better not have missed it.
Falcon 9 is in startup. Dragon is in countdown. FTS is armed for launch.
Here's the final
Under
go.
a minute now, the FTS, the flight termination system, has been armed.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
Go for launch, Jerry.
SpaceX Dragon, we're go for launch. Let's light this candle.
That's what Alan Shepard said.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Stage 1 tanks pressing for flight.
T-minus 15 seconds.
14, 13, 12, 11, 10,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA. Go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
Get up there.
America has launched. So rises a new era of American spaceflight, and with it the ambitions of a new generation continuing the dream. 20 seconds into flight, stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
T plus 30 seconds into this historic mission. Flying crew on board Dragon and Falcon 9, and look at them go.
Falcon power telemetry nominal.
M1D throttle down.
We're throttling down to get ready for the period of maximum dynamic pressure. We're in the throttle bucket. Reports say all systems are go.
A tremendous blast hitting you.
Vehicle is
You can
supersonic.
feel the shock waves.
We've exceeded
You can
Mach 1
sense
on the
the
Falcon
speed.
9.
M1D throttle up.
We're throttling back up to full power as we're through max Q.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
Don't go off.
And we heard that 1 Bravo
Camera.
call out. That's just the second abort zone that they're in. They'll continue to be on this until the first stage has done its job and they switch over to the second. At this point, Bob and Doug pulling about 2.3 Gs, 2.3 times the Earth's gravity, already moving at over 1,500 miles per hour.
We've heard the call out for MVAC engine chill. That's getting the MVAC engine ready to light. That'll come at about 2:44 into flight. Right now, everything continuing to look good. Next major event coming up is going to be the triple. We'll have main engine cutoff of the 9 first stage engines,
feel like I'm
stage
watching the
separation,
Olympics.
and then ignition of the second stage engine to continue to carry astronauts into orbit. Coming up in about 20 seconds.
M1D
Look,
throttle
the
down.
Earth is round.
We heard we're throttling down the Merlin engines on the
It's
first
a
stage.
hoax. I'm a flat earther. This is a hoax.
And we have Miko.
Eco.
2 Alpha.
Falcon stage
This
separation.
was done in a theater setting.
Falcon 2 Alpha.
Woohoo!
MVAC ignition.
Second stage looks good. There's your first live picture
Right,
of
we
an
have
astronaut
stage
on his way to
separation
space in
confirmed. The
an
first
American
stage beginning its flight
spacecraft.
back. The second stage being powered by that single Merlin 1D vacuum
American
engine has
spacecraft?
ignited.
What about NASA?
Is now
Acquisition of signal
carrying
loss.
Bob and Doug
Well,
into
private
orbit.
company, I would assume.
So they're going to continue on
Right?
the power of this second
Stage
stage,
2 propulsion is
Yeah,
nominal.
it's a private company. That's great.
which will
I
cut
think that's
off
where
at
it should
SECO,
go.
or second engine cut off at about 8
They
minutes
should
and
be private
44
companies.
seconds into today's flight. So a little over 5
job,
minutes to go
Elon.
still on
Can't
this
pronounce your kid's
second
name,
stage.
but that's
We heard
all
the
good.
call out 2
At least we
Alpha,
got
so they're
people
now
in
in the
space.
longest abort zone that carries them all the way from about North Carolina up the eastern seaboard, almost to Canada. Things looking good though, getting good
Yeah,
call outs,
forward.
nominal
Give some money to
propulsion
that,
on that
Elon.
second stage. Bob and Doug continuing to make their way into orbit.
And on the left, that's their view. You are looking out their eyes at their
Wow.
touch screens.
Dragon
Their
SpaceX
windows
nominal
visible?
trajectory.
Acquisition of signal in Bermuda.
SpaceX Dragon nominal trajectory.
These civilian dudes are like, the Earth ain't flat. It's round.
Carrying nominal trajectories, and Dragon pointed in the right direction, continuing to make their flight uphill. Heard acquisition of signal Bermuda. That's one of the other ground stations that they're using to get telemetry and data back from this spacecraft.
Stage 2 propulsion is still nominal.
Phenomenal cosmic power.
The second stage keeps firing until 8 minutes and 43 seconds in. So that's just about 4 more minutes on the second stage. We are not seeing the first stage at this point coming in for a landing, but we assume that things are normal with it.
A little over 4 minutes, 40 seconds into the flight. Bob and Doug flying at more than 5,600 miles
Dragon
per hour.
SpaceX nominal trajectory.
Already almost
I'm almost
200 miles
surprised that, like,
downrange
Elon
from the
didn't,
Kennedy
like,
Space Center. Nominal trajectory.
Trained himself to go up himself.
And on your right is the view from the
Huh?
first stage, which is coming back for a landing. And if you were with us a little while ago and heard me talk about the tennis rackets, there they are. You look, so your camera is mounted on the very tippy top of the first stage, looking
Yeah,
downward.
so like
You're getting a view of
millions
the
And
of
you see the
dollars.
grid fins, which control the
Someday I'd like to
flight
go to
of the
space.
first stage as it comes back. It has not got any engine
grandchildren
power at this point.
Our
It is
grandkids are gonna
coasting
go
back
space,
to
Gary.
Earth and guided by itself, with no one in control, guided by itself by those grid fins, which look
Teddy
like
don't
tennis
wanna go up
rackets,
there.
as it comes in for a
Babies
landing.
don't wanna
Meanwhile,
go
on the
up
left,
there.
Hurley
No.
and Bankin looking serene,
Baby
looking
wanna stay down on the
no
ground.
problem at
Mom.
all, well on their way.
heard
Nominal.
starting chill for entry burn. There's that call out. They are still on a nominal trajectory on Dragon. Still on second stage, and that's that MVAC engine on second stage on your left screen.
It's amazing, like, how
Again, on your
fast
right screen
that
is that
was.
first stage booster coming back towards
know,
our
like,
drone ship.
that's
Of course, I still
amazing.
love you. We're about a minute away from entry burn.
That's
That
Meanwhile,
entry
that
burn
second
is one of the
stage
very
continuing
brief
to power
times they
Dragon.
fire the engines on the
is
first
the
stage
airspeed
to
velocity of an
help it
unladen
land.
swallow.
It's going to continue to burn until 8 minutes and 44 seconds into flight. So a little over 2 minutes from now, we'll hear the call out Seco. It'll then be a little
Stage two
under, a
propulsion
little
is still
over,
good.
a little over 3 minutes until Dragon physically separates from the second stage of the Falcon 9 after the upper
Dragon
stage gets a
SpaceX
chance.
nominal trajectory.
Dragon copies. Nominal trajectory.
Really?
Continuing to check in with Bob and Doug as they are on a nominal trajectory. Just about 10 seconds away from that first stage, starting that entry burn on your right screen. We should be able to see that view live.
Stage 1 entry burn started.
Are they gonna try and go to the moon at least before
And
they try
there
to go
is
to
that
Mars?
entry burn
Acquisition of
beginning.
signal New Hampshire.
This burn lasts about 36 seconds long.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Delivering. Wanna go to Mars, Jerry? Come on.
Well, that
1
entry
minute
burn
now till
continues. We're
second
just about a
stage
minute
engine
away
cut off.
From Seco, we'll have a number of events all happen in rapid succession. It'll
Copy,
be the
shutdown.
second engine cut off.
Stage 1
We'll
entry
be
burn
looking
shut
for
down.
that stage 1 landing burn shortly after.
Actually, just within a few seconds of each other. Such a cool view on your left screen, seeing Bob and Doug
I'm glad
on
that he's
Dragon.
like putting his money towards
And now you can see the
something
displays
that's
that
gonna
they are seeing right now
span
themselves.
Terminal guidance.
humanity in some way. That's really
And back throttle
awesome.
step.
Just a few more seconds for the second stage.
We are coming up 25 seconds or so
Don't
away
forget about
from
helping the
Seco,
little
second
guy.
engine cutoff.
This is also the point where Bob and Doug are experiencing their highest G-force. We're seeing the counter tick up to right about
Stage
1.8.
1 transonic.
Copy Shannon.
You heard Shannon, so that just means they're in their final abort zones. If they were to abort at this point, it would either be an abort to orbit or to land off the coast of Ireland. Standing by for second
Stage 1
engine
landing
cutoff
started.
confirmation.
And back throttle step. And back shut down. Stage 1 landing clear.
Confirmation of Seco's second engine cutoff.
Now we are waiting for our first stage to make its way to our drone ship. Of course, I still love you.
Dragon SpaceX nominal orbital insertion.
Of course, I still love
Launch
you.
Confirmation
is
of nominal
Dragon
orbital
copies.
insertion.
Nominal
Stage
orbital
1 landing leg
insertion.
deploy.
And what you're seeing on your screen is a live view of our drone ship, where our first stage will be coming down. Looks like we lost that live view, but we'll wait for confirmation of that landing shortly here.
Falcon 9 first stage is successfully landed.
And there you can see on your screen, Falcon 9 has landed. This is the first Falcon 9 to carry
Acquisition of signal
humans to
different.
orbit, so very exciting for us. And as you can see on your right screen, Bob and Doug are still making their way to their targeted
Well, you saw the fist bump
orbit.
there. You saw the two astronauts
So they came
bump their
down?
fists. They've made it.
They went up and
SpaceX
came down.
has
That
done
was
it. Hurley and Benkin have done it. Space
I
flight
thought they
has
were
been
gonna
restored
No, they're still
to
up
the
there.
Kennedy Space Center and the Space Coast of
Yeah,
Florida.
they are still
And
up there. but
SpaceX has
but the
become
ship
the
came
first
down?
private company to launch people safely
Oh,
into
okay.
space.
I'm like,
the second
I thought they were
stage
gonna hook up
separation
with
is
the,
still
with the
coming
space
up.
station. What are they doing on the
We've got a
ground?
0G indicator floating around. Bob Hurley, Bob Benkin and
so
Doug
they,
Hurley
like,
are
put, like, a
in
drone thing, made
weightlessness
them
right now, just
come-
waiting to separate from their second stage and be considered ready to pretty much run down and
I
chase
was
after
confused.
the International Space Station.
Well, at least they're not like
Condition
loose
before
enough.
we separate.
That's right, the upper stage
Yeah,
does small
absolutely.
attitude maneuver using cold gas thrusters built into the rocket body itself.
Well, hopefully it'll cut down on space pollution.
Exactly. So we do expect that separation to occur in about a minute from now, but they do wait until they have full confirmation that it is ready to separate. Such cool views. I cannot get over this view that we are seeing right now. Bob and Doug on the right screen, inside of Crew Dragon, out in space.
So
already
it'll be satellite
200
phones.
kilometers over planet Earth, or a little over 124 miles, traveling in excess
finally
of 2,700 meters.
That's
27,000 meters per second.
I had a satellite phone when I was in the Navy, but I left it on a plane.
Right around 20 seconds until
Yeah,
separation.
I was
now.
not happy about
We're
that.
just standing by. That
It was
separation event should be coming up
a global
shortly.
phone.
Then they'll begin a series of checks on the Draco
It
thrusters
was a
that are
global
going to be
phone
used
from
to
Japan, and
maneuver
it worked
and
everywhere,
power
but I
Dragon
accidentally left it
its
on a
flight
plane
to
in
the
Canada.
International Space Station.
Idiot.
Standing by for separation.
I'm blaming Canada for that.
It sounds like we had an expected LOS loss of signal with one of the ground stations.
There it is.
Waiting for
There's
confirmation.
the second
now.
stage separating.
Look at that.
You're looking up from the second stage. You are looking upward as Dragon flies off into space. There goes the Dragon. There it goes into orbit, about to go over that horizon of the Earth right there ahead of you. The Dragon is flying free with 2 American astronauts on board.
That is awesome.
The first astronauts to launch from the Kennedy Space Center in 9 years, and the first ever to launch on a privately owned spaceship.
That's so cool.
Chief engineer on Dragon to ground.
So, I mean, that's a lot of fucking money, but damn.
On behalf of the entire launch team, thanks for flying with Falcon 9 today. We hope you enjoyed the ride and wish you a great mission.
You are now free to roam about the world.
Thanks, Paula. Congratulations
For the
to you and the
universe.
F9 team for the first human
now free to
ride for Falcon 9.
universe.
And it was incredible. Appreciate all the hard work, and thanks for the great ride to space.
Copy all.
Paula and Mike, proud of you guys and the rest of the team. Thank you so much for what you've done for us today, putting America back into low Earth orbit from the Florida coast.
Copy all. Good luck. Godspeed.
That's awesome.
So it's about an 18-and-a-half-hour ride to the International Space Station from here. Everything seems to be working perfectly. We have heard no chatter about anything that they're worried about at all. They're safely in orbit.
That's great.
The first stage has already landed,
Jerry, we should make a spaceship.
and a new era has begun.
So again, that nose cone is going to open up a little bit more than 90 degrees, goes up to about, I think, 105 degrees, and that's going to expose the actual docking ring and the hatch that they're going to be going through once they attach to the International Space Station, and also 4 of those Draco thrusters, we call them the forward bulkhead thrusters. They're going to be used for these major phase burns or firings of those thrusters to actually raise their orbit gradually over the coming hours. Also heard good activation of the ECLSS, that's the Environmental Control and Life Support System. That's everything controlling their atmosphere, just keeping Dragon a nice, safe, habitable environment where they're going to be living for the next 19 hours until they arrive at the space station.
Right, exactly.
And so Hurley and Behnken, in a short period of time, will be taking off those spacesuits. We'll be able to float around in their rather roomy spaceship, look out the windows, probably get some rest overnight, kind of take it a little bit easy before getting serious again with the rendezvous and docking with the International Space Station right around 10:30 tomorrow morning. It was exciting. The weather cleared at the last moment. The countdown was right on schedule. It seemed to go faster and faster and pick up speed as we got there, and SpaceX hit it right on the money. 3:22 and 45 seconds, and Meredith off they went into space, and it is a great start to this mission.
Dan, it's so difficult to try and describe what it's like to see such a momentous and historical moment here. But of course, a lot of people over there on the Space Coast will be going home happy tonight, being able to see that liftoff. We know, though, for Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, this is only the start of their mission. So, Dan, can you kind of walk us through what they'll be doing once they dock there at the ISS?
they'll actually be more or less passengers. They'll be testing and monitoring all the systems. They'll be learning how to fly the Dragon, which you do by touch screen, which is different from any other spaceship that's come in the past. Other spaceships have a
crazy
control stick that is kind of intuitive, and the way you move it makes the spacecraft move the same way. In this case, you have a touch screen, so they'll be evaluating that, how that works, learning to fly it, but then they'll put it back into remote control. It will dock all by itself tomorrow morning with the space station. They'll open the hatches and float aboard, and then it'll be life as usual aboard the space station for at least a month.
Dan, just an incredible moment in time, a incredible moment in history. Love to hear your final thoughts, Dan.
The final thoughts are it took a long time, 9 years. It was expected that astronauts might be able to fly commercially 4 years after the last space shuttle. It took 9. But to see what SpaceX can do that the aerospace giants cannot do is really an eye-opener. And it's very inspirational to see American know-how at work in that fashion, and to see American astronauts back in space from the world's premier launch site, the Kennedy Space Center.
Dan, thanks so much. Incredible to work with you on this. Just an amazing day. You can't help but feel proud, that's for sure. It gives you goosebumps even here in the studio, Dan. So thanks so much, and to all of our viewers for watching our coverage here of Launch America.
And our coverage doesn't stop here. We're going to have much more coming up tonight on WESH News at 6 as well. We'll see you then.